so this is mindful movement with rotation. So we're going to be working on the digestive system, we're going to work at detoxing, toning and feeling those oblique muscles in the centre of the body working. So there's going to be a lot of twists and there's going to be a lot of lateral flexion and forward folds. Now this all works the main organs, so therefore it can help everything move around your body better, gets rid of toxins, helps release anything from the system that the body doesn't need. Now I'm actually doing this mindful movement rotation very easily. So if you want to take a stronger version of this, there's another video that you can go to where we do stronger rotations. But I want you to concentrate on, if the shoulders are turning, the hips stay neutral. If the hips are turning, the shoulders stay neutral. I'll keep hearing this through the practice, but when we do our twists, say we've got a twist here, normally I will quite often cue to do the elbow, but in this mindful movement I'm going to get you to bring the hand to wherever it needs to be and the opposite hand to the lower back, and we're going to take our twists in this version. The reason I'm doing this is because it makes it a little bit more mindful. So if you have lower back issues, it's a really good practice to do. With keeping that lower hand, that back hand on the back, that helps you have a better idea of where the pelvis is. And the hand rather than the elbow stops you going too deep with the twist. So I'm going to cue all these things as we go through. Really think about how the lower back feels as you move. If things don't feel right, come out of the pose, come out of the twist. The lateral flexions that we'll be doing, I want you to think about the pelvis staying in the centre. So if you're lateral flexion over to one side, don't let the opposite hip push out to the side. Try and keep it neutralised in the centre, either grounding through the feet or the knees if you're on the knees. So let's get started and we'll take it nice and slowly. We're not going to be moving fast through this. I want you to really think about your transition from one pose to another. So we're going to start on our backs. Bring your feet to the front of the mat, thumbs into the centre, shoulders to the top of the mat, and just bring the shoulders, the heads down. Keep a bend in the knees. Just bring the hands down by the sides of the body, but just away from the body slightly. Turn the palms up to the ceiling. Then just give the knees just a little bit of movement from side to side, just to massage that lower spine slightly. And then bring those knees to stillness. And then if you're happy to just let those knees drop out and bring the soles of the feet together. And then again, just rock those knees a little from side to side. Just giving a little bit of self-care to that lower back. Just close the eyes for a moment. When you're ready to bring those knees to stillness, just let gravity take over to let those knees drop down. Take a nice long deep breath in through the nose and a long breath out through the mouth. Take another long deep breath in. Long breath out. Take a scan of the body from the top of the head all the way down to the tips of the toes, tips of the fingers. Just noticing how that body feels as you're laying here on the floor, getting ready for the movement. Check in with any tight spots. If lower backs are tight, be really mindful as you take these twists. Bring the knees back together in the centre. Bring the arms out to a T shape, palms facing down. Just take the knees softly over to the right side, the gaze over to the left. This is where you try and keep those shoulders in that neutral space as we're moving the hips to make the twist. Bring those knees then back into the middle. Take the knees over to the left side, the gaze over to the right side. And just feel that stretch in that lower back, down that right side of the waist. Just wringing that spine out. If you've turned the head to the right, we're taking that full twist of the spine. If that feels too much on the neck, just keep the gaze up. Then bring those knees again back into centre. Let the legs come out long, let the arms come above the head. I would like you to reach with the right fingertips, reach with the right heel, and then contract the left side of the body slightly. So we're getting a little hike of the hips. Then take it to the opposite side. Stretch out through the left side, left fingertips, left heel, and contract the right side. Do that a few times on both sides, reaching with the right side, contracting with the left. Then reaching with the left side, contracting with the right. Just moving that pelvis, moving those shoulders up and down. Keep that moving a few times both sides. So you almost feel like you're pulling the hip socket up on one side and pushing the hip socket down on the other. Pushing the shoulder socket up on one side, pushing the shoulder socket down on the other. Do that a couple of more times. And then bring that body back into the centre. Bring the knees in towards the chest. Just give those knees a hug. Squeeze them into the body. Then just rock up and down that spine a couple of times. Next time you come up to seated, cross the legs. Sit tall from the sit bones up to the shoulders. Breathe in, raise the hands up towards the ceiling. Then as you breathe out, bring your right hand to your left knee and your left hand behind. Take another breath in, bring those hands back up to the centre, and then take your left hand to your right knee and turn around to the opposite side. Come back to the centre, take it one more time on both sides. Right hand to left knee, twist to the left. Hands back to the centre. Left hand to right knee and twist to the right. Come back to the centre, arms come back up to the ceiling. Then bring your left hand down to the floor. Reach over with your right hand, lateral flex through that waist. Come back to the centre. Then bring your right hand down, reach over with your left hand. Back to the centre. One more time on both sides. Left hand down, reach over with the right hand. Back to the centre. Right hand down, reach over with the left hand. Back to the centre. Come onto the hands and knees. Heel of the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lifts up the head and lifts up the bum, lets the belly drop towards the floor. And then take it in the opposite direction, chin into the chest, the tailbone tucks, the centre of the spine lifts. Come back to that neutral space, tabletop position. Roll onto your right side, turning your right foot off the mat, sending your left toes to the back of the mat. Let that right hand come a little further forward, left hand onto the hip. Drop the right hip down towards the floor, and then lift that left hip up to the ceiling. And again, right hip down to the floor and lift. Two more times, right hip down to the floor and lift that left hip. One more time, right hip down to the floor and lift that left hip. Come back to neutral, come back to the centre, tabletop position. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lifts up the head, lifts up the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, fold everything in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks. Come back to a neutral space. Roll over onto your left side, turn the left foot off the mat, right foot to the back of the mat. Right hand onto the hip, walk those left fingertips a little further forward. On your out breath, drop that left hip to the floor. On your in breath, raise that right hip. Out breath, drop the hip. In breath, lift the hip. Two more times. Out breath, drop the hip. In breath, lift the hip. One more time. Drop the hip. In breath, lift the hip. Come back to the centre. Tabletop position. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lifts up the head, lifts up the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, folds everything back in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks. Come back to a neutral space. Take that right foot off the mat again, come over to your right side, weight onto the right hand, right knee. Lift the left hand to the ceiling, stretch through that arm. Then bring that left hand behind the back of the head. On your out breath, left elbow to the right elbow and twist. Keep that left hip turned out to the side. Breath in, lift up, space through the chest. Breath out, left elbow to the right elbow. Breath in, lift. 2 more times, rotating that waist. Breath in, lift. 1 more time, bring that left elbow to the right elbow. Come back to the centre and lift. Bring both hands down, tabletop position, round of cat-cow. Breath in, lift the head, lift the bum, drop the belly. Breath out, fold everything in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks. Come back to a neutral space. Turn the left foot off, bring the weight onto that left side. Reach up with the right hand to the ceiling first, then bring the right hand behind the head. On your breath out, right elbow to the left elbow, twist. Lift that arm back up to the ceiling. And again, right elbow to the left. Keep that right hip turned out to the side. And lift 2 more times. Right elbow to left. And lift. 1 more time with that rotation of the waist. And lift. Come back to tabletop position. Heel of the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. Round of cat-cow. Breath in, lift the head, lift the bum, drop the belly. Breath out, fold everything in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks. Come back to a neutral space. Breath in, raise the right hand, bring it out to the side, gaze to the thumb. Thread the right hand in between the left hand and the left knee, bringing the right ear to the mat. Use that left hand to push and lift that left shoulder. Try and neutralise the weight into both knees so you feel weight in the left knee as much as you do in the right. Try and find maybe a little more rotation by pushing into that right forearm. Hold it just for 1 more breath. Then push into that left hand, raise the right hand to the ceiling. Turn and twist through the waist. Right hand back to meet the left. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lift the head, lift the bum, drop the belly. Breath out, fold everything in, chin to chest. Bring it back to a neutral space, tabletop position. Next breath in, raise the left hand, turn and twist to the left. Then thread that left hand in between the right hand and the right knee, bringing that left ear down towards the mat. Keep pushing into that right hand to lift the right shoulder. Send your weight as much into the right knee as you are in the left. Push the weight into that left forearm to try and make a twist a little deeper. Pelvis stays neutral, shoulders turn, and the twist comes from the waist. Your next breath in, raise that left hand back up to the ceiling. Turn and twist. Bring the hand of the left back to meet the right. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lift the head, lift the bum, drop the belly. Breath out, fold everything in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks. Come back to the neutral space. Bring the shoulders over the hips, knees hip width apart. Place the hands onto the waist. Bring your right hand to the left hip, your left hand behind. Turn and twist the body without those hips moving from that neutral place, facing that short edge of the mat. Try and bring that left shoulder back, the right shoulder around. Keep tucking that tailbone down, drawing that belly back. Holding it in the twist for 1 more breath. Then take it back to the centre. Swap hands, the left hand comes onto the right hip, the right hand comes behind. Twist the upper body, keep the pelvis neutral. The bum tucked under, the belly drawn back, the ribs and hips tethering towards each other so we don't dump into that lower spine. Try and rotate a little more, but hold on to that right hip so it doesn't turn. 1 more breath here. Bring that body back to the centre, release the hands down by the sides. Raise the hands up to the ceiling, take an interlace of the fingers. Take the hands then over to the right, keep the hips neutral. Weight in both knees. Keep the bums tucked under, the shoulders relaxed. Taking lateral flexion through that waist. Then bring those arms back to the centre. The hips shouldn't move as you take the hands over to the left side, bending that left waist. Stretching that right side, pushing the weight back into that right knee. Keep that tailbone down. Try not to let the lower back arch too much. Back to the centre. Release the hands. Come back onto the hands and knees. Bring your right foot through in between the hands. Then bring the arms up towards the ceiling. Bring yourself into a low lunge position. Bring your right hand onto your lower back. Your left hand onto your right knee. Twist the body around to the right side. Feel like you're pushing that tailbone down, so you feel a little stretch coming into that left hip flexor. That right leg stays bent, the hips stay to the short edge of the mat, the shoulders turn to the right, and we get that rotation, that oblique strength, turning and twisting the body, working that digestive system. Long, easy breaths in. Long, easy breaths out. Bring that body back to the centre. Raise the arms up towards the ceiling. Stretch the side of the waist. Bring the hands down either side of the right foot. Step that right knee back to meet the left. Step the left foot through to the front. Raise the arms up to shoulders, above the shoulders. Then bring your left hand to the lower back. Your right hand to the left knee. And turn and twist, rotate to the left. Push nice and strong into that front foot, the top of the back foot. Find that support in the earth. Keep those hips facing forward, the shoulders turn to the left. Feel that twist coming in that body. Making it twist more from the top of the lumbar spine, the base of the thoracic spine. Try to lift the chest a little, but don't try and arch the lower back. Come back to the centre, raise the hands up towards the ceiling. Bring the hands down either side of that left foot. Step that left foot back, knees in line with each other, and take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lifts the head, lifts the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, fold everything in, chin to chest, tailbone to centre of the spine lift. Come back to that neutral space. Step your right foot through in between the hands. Raise the arms up towards the ceiling. Then bring your right hand to the right hip. Lateral flex over to the right side. Try not to let the hips come out of the midline. Keep the hips pushing forward. Get that stretch in that front left hip flexor. Reaching long through the left arm, but letting the shoulder relax. Maybe take it over a little deeper if you can, but don't let those hips push over. One more breath here. Then bring yourself back to the middle. Raise both hands to the ceiling. Bring both hands down either side of the right foot. Step the right foot back to meet the left. Bring your left foot through in between the hands. Push into the feet, raise the hands to the ceiling. Push the hips forward. Left hand onto the left hip. Right hand moves over to the left side. Keep the hips in the midline, facing forward. Shoulders facing forward. The bend through the left side of the waist and the stretch through the right. Keep pushing those bums forward as much as you can to feel that hip flexor stretch. Keep stabilising into the earth by pushing into those feet. Reach up through the right hand, relax through that right shoulder. Next breath in, come back up to the centre. Reach both hands up. Bring both hands down either side of the left foot. Step the left foot back to meet the right. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lift up the head, lift up the bum, drop the belly. Breath out, fold everything in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks. Come back to a neutral space, tabletop position. Step both feet back to a plank. Hold it in plank just for a couple of breaths. Then bring your right knee to the floor, turn the right foot off, come over into your side plank, lift the left hand to the ceiling, then reach the left hand forward to the front of the mat, lift the left leg up away from the floor. On your out breath, elbow to knee. In breath, lengthen. 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 Out breath, come back to a tabletop position. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lifts the head, lifts the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, fold everything in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks, centre of the spine lifts. Come back to a neutral place, tabletop position. Roll over onto your left side, reaching back with the right foot, reaching up with the right hand, reaching forward then to the front of the mat, raising the right leg up to hip height. On your out breath, elbow to knee. On your in breath, lengthen. Find the stability through the left hand and the right knee, right foot. Left hand, left knee, left foot. Out breath, squeeze. In breath, lengthen. 2 more times. Out breath, squeeze. In breath, lengthen. 1 more time. Out breath, squeeze it in as much as you can. In breath, lengthen. Push that right heel away. Come back to all fours. Tabletop position. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lift the head, lift the bum, drop the belly. Breath out, fold everything in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks. Come back to a neutral space, tabletop position. Step both feet back to a plank. Lift the hips, down dog. Maybe have a little pedal through the feet here. A little movement and shake through those hips. Then slowly start to walk the feet towards the front of the mat, keeping the hips high. Ground the feet hip width apart. Bend the knees, take a hold of the elbows, let the head fall over the thighs. Crown pointing down. Maybe make a little circle with the arms in one direction, then through the other. Letting the arms become heavy as you slowly curl up through that spine, coming up 1 vertebra at a time. As you arrive in standing, take a roll of the shoulders up towards the ears, back down towards the hips. Bring your right hand onto your left hip, your left hand behind. Keep the hips facing forward, twist the upper body to the left side of the room. Tuck that bum under, draw that belly back. Lift through the chest, relax through the shoulders. Take it to the opposite side, so bring your left hand onto your right hip, right hand behind. Breathe in, elongate, breathe out, twist, hips stay neutral. Find that rotation, find that stretch and twist. Back to the centre, bring the arms up above the head. Take a bend into both knees, bring yourself into a chair position, holding it in chair just for a couple of breaths. Tuck the bum down, draw the belly back, squeeze the ribs and hips towards each other. Bring your left hand onto your back, your right hand onto your left knee, twist, rotate to the left. Try and keep both knees level so we don't use pelvic torsion to find the twist. We use the waist to find it, those oblique muscles. Maybe sink those hips a little lower. Use that right hand as the anchor. Turn the left shoulder up. Knees in line. Feather-like touch through the toes, weight into the heels. Bring yourself back to the centre. Find chair position again. Arms high, bums tucked under, belly's drawn back. Then fold over the legs, bring the hands to the floor, straighten the legs as much as you can. Give that head a nod and a shake. Long breath in, long breath out. Then find a bend back in those knees. Bring the arms up towards the ears. find that chair position again. Bum tucks under, belly draws back, feather-like touch through the toes. Bring your right hand this time onto your lower back, your left hand onto your right knee. Breathe in, elongate, breathe out, twist, sink the bum lower, knees in line, twist from the waist. Find the weight more in those heels. Keep those bums low. Notice whether this twist comes as easy as it does on the other side or harder. Just being aware of which side feels tighter. One more breath. Then fold back over the legs. Let that head hang heavy. Bring the hands to the floor or the shins or the ankles, wherever they reach. Breath in, come up to a half lift. Breath out, find a little more fold over those thighs. Again, breathe in, half lift. Breathe out, squeeze the belly back, make space for that chest to come maybe a little closer to the thighs. And just allow that body to stay folded over those legs just for a couple more breaths. Then place those hands down, step both feet back to the back of the mat. Hold plank just for a couple of breaths. Coming down onto the knees. Bring your right foot through in between your hands. Tuck your back toes under, lift up the back knee. Then raise the arms to your high lunge. Push strong into both feet, sink into the hips. Try and find that 90-degree angle from the thigh to the shin on that right leg. And that back leg, try and find it straight, but keeping the pelvis tucked under, belly drawn back. Right hand onto the lower back, left hand reaches forward and then brings to the right knee. Twist, rotate, try not to let that left hip drop. Find the rotation from the waist, the shoulders turn, pelvis stays neutral to that front edge of the mat. Long breaths in, long breaths out. Use the left hand to encourage a little more twist. Try not to let that left hip pull forward. Then release the hands down either side of that right foot. Drop the back knee, right foot back to meet the left. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lift up the head, lift up the bum, let the belly drop. Breath out, folds everything in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks, centre of the spine lifts. Come back to that neutral space tabletop position. Step your left foot through in between the hands. Tuck your back toes under, lift up your back knee. Raise the arms up towards the ceiling, finding high lunge. Sink the hips low, straighten the back leg, bend the front knee. Ribbon hip, drawn towards one another. Then bringing your left hand onto your lower back, your right hand onto your left knee. Breathe in, elongate, breathe out, twist. Keep both hips neutral, shoulders turned. Turning towards that left side of the room. Try not to impinge in that lower back, try not to pinch in that lower spine. Keep that pelvis facing the front edge of the mat. Keep bent in that front knee. Keep using that right arm maybe to find a little more twist to that left side. And then release those hands down, either side of that left foot, drop the back knee, left knee back to meet the right. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lifts up the head, lifts up the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, we fold everything back in, the chin comes to the chest and the tailbone tucks. Come back to a neutral space, tabletop position. Step your right foot through, in between the hands. Tuck your back toes under, lift up your back knee. Raise the arms all the way up to high lunge position this time. Right hand on the hip, hips stay at the centre. Reach over with the left hand towards the right side of the room. Feel that stretch. Push those hips forward to feel it in the hip flexor. Feel that contraction through the waist on the right side. working all those internal system, that digestive system, getting rid of toxins, toning up the sides of the waist. Reach a little more with that left hand if you can, and then release that right hand and the left hand back to either side of the right foot. Drop the back knee, untuck the toes, right knee back to meet the left. Take a round of cat-cow. Neutralise that spine with its flexion and extension. Bring it back to a neutral place, tabletop position. Step your left foot through, tuck your back toes under, lift up with the back knee, raise the arms up, finding high lunge. Left hand onto the hip, neutral spine. Reach over with the right hand without pushing hips over to the side. Relax the right shoulder but lengthen the right arm. Bent knee of the left, straight leg of the right. Feeling the contraction down the right side of the waist to tone, and the stretch down the left side of the waist, the stretch down the right side of the waist. Feeling everything laterally bending over to that left side. Try not to let the hips push over. Keep them in the midline. Then release the right hand down, the left hand down either side of the left foot. Drop the back knee, left knee back to meet the right. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lifts the head, lifts the bum, drops the belly. Breath out, fold everything in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks. Come back to a neutral space, tabletop position. Step both feet back to a plank. Lift the hips, squeeze the heels back. Start to walk the hands towards the back of the mat, keeping the legs as straight as you can or bending them if you need to. Let the chest sit over the thighs, let the head hang crown towards the mat. Then on your breath in, energetically lifting those arms all the way up towards the ceiling. And then bend into the knees, find chair position, feet hip width apart. Tuck under the bum, draw the belly back. Bring your right hand onto the lower back, left hand onto the right knee. Turn, twist the shoulders, knees stay neutral, hips stay low, feather-like touch through the toes. Hold it just for one more breath here. Then reach the arms back up, tabletop chair position. Then the left hand comes onto the lower back, the right hand comes onto the left knee. Breathe in, elongate, breathe out and twist. Sink the hips low. Feel the weight in the heels. Breath in, raise those arms back up. Breath out, fold over those legs to a forward fold. Walk the hands back towards the front of the mat to our downward facing dog position. Lifting the hips, squeezing those heels back just for a couple of breaths in down dog. Then making your way onto your knees, bring your right foot through. Keep the left knee down, keep the left hand down. Right hand comes onto the shoulder, twist and turn to your right side. Then raise the hand if you wish, or bring that right hand to the lower back. Whichever works and feels most comfortable for you. The right hand on the lower back is the easier option. Try and use that left hand to help with the twist, pushing it into the mat. Left hip in line with the right. One more hold breath here. Then when you breathe in, slowly lift that left hand away, finding your reverse twisted warrior position, but with the back knee dropped. Hips still facing forward, shoulders are turned. You can still keep that right hand on the lower back if you wish, if it feels more comfortable for the shoulders. But reach forward as much as you can with that left hand without those shoulders coming too far forward. Keep them stacked over the hips. Keep that tailbone tucked down, belly drawn back, pushing the hips forward to feel the stretch through that left hip flexor. Maybe engage those glutes as you push those hips forward. Remember that right arm can be straight to the back of the room. Feeling that twist in the waist. Then windmill the hands down, either side of your right foot. Bring your right knee back to meet the left. Round of cat-cow, neutralise the spine from the twist. Find yourself back in that neutral place, tabletop position, to bring your left foot through. Your right hand stays down, left hand onto the shoulder. Turn and twist the shoulders first. Arm can either go up to the ceiling of the left or down to the lower back. Right hand's the anchor to help with the twist. Trying to encourage that right shoulder towards that left knee. That rotation, that digestive system cleanser, getting rid of any toxins that we don't want. Push nice and strong into both feet, lift the shoulders, keeping that twist in the body. Left hand can stay on the lower back or reach out behind you. Hips stay forward. Try and encourage the right shoulder around, the left shoulder back. Reaching as much as you can forward with the right hand, back with the left if it's lifted, or have that hand on that lower back. Using the out breath to rotate. One more breath here. Then windmill the hands down either side of that left foot. Bring that left knee back to meet the right. Take a round of cat-cow. Lift the head, lift the bum, drop the belly. Breath out, fold everything in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks. Then bring it back to a neutral space, tabletop position. Step your right foot through. Sink the hips, heel toe the right foot out to the edge of the mat. Keep your left hand down, your right hand on your right knee. Push that knee out, turn and twist those shoulders. This time let that left hip drop a little bit. So you can feel that little rotation through the waist, but also a stretch through that left hip flexor. Keep encouraging that right knee out to the side, coming onto the knife edge of that right foot, twisting and turning, maybe gazing towards the back of the room. Then turn yourself back to the front, heel toe the right foot back into the centre. Hands down either side of the right foot back to meet the left. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, bum lifts, head lifts, breath out. Tuck everything in, chin to chest, tailbone tucks. Bring it back to a neutral space, tabletop position, to step your left foot through. Drop the hips low, heel toe that left foot out to the side. Bring the right hand down onto the floor, the left hand onto the left knee. Push that left knee out, twist the shoulders, drop that right hip slightly. Turn to face the back of the room. If that wrist on the right hand is a little tight, bring that right hand a little further forward. Push that left knee out a little more. Find that rotation through the waist. A little drop into that right hip flexor to stretch at the front. Holding here just for one more breath. Then release from the twist. Heel toe that left foot back into the middle. Bring the left knee back to meet the right. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, lifts the head, lifts the bum. Breath out, fold everything back in. Chin to chest, tailbone tucks. Come back to a neutral space. Turn your right foot off the mat. Bring your weight onto your right hand. Side plank. Reach the left hand to the ceiling, then bring it to the back of the head. On your out breath, left elbow to the right elbow. Breath in, raise. One more time, left elbow, right elbow. And lift. This time reach the left hand forward. Lift the left leg. 2 times knee to elbow. Straighten back out. And again, left knee, left elbow. And straighten out. Bring yourself back to the centre, tabletop position. Take a round of cat-cow. Breath in, head lifts, bum lifts, belly drops. Breath out, centre of the spine tucks. Sending it up to the ceiling. Then coming back to a neutral space, turn the left foot off the mat. Right foot to the back of the mat, come onto the left side plank, lift that right hand comes behind the back of the head, right elbow to the left, 2 times, lift, right elbow to the left, and lift. Then reach forward with the right hand, raise the right leg, elbow to knee twice, and lengthen. And again, elbow to knee, and lengthen. This time bring yourself back to tabletop position. Step both feet back to a plank. Then lift the hips, squeeze the heels back. Walk the hands into the centre, the feet to join them. Slowly let the body curl up through that spine, 1 vertebra at a time. Bring yourself all the way up to standing and roll those shoulders back. Standing at the front of your mats, I'll mirror image you on the balance. So bringing your weight into your right foot, lifting up with your left knee up to hip height. Try and keep this pelvis nice and stable. Try not to push out to one side or the other. When the knees come to hip height, bring your right hand onto your left knee. Then bring your left hand up towards the ceiling and then turn and twist and rotate to that left side of the room. Again, keeping that pelvis forwards, taking our standing balance into that rotation of the waist, the lift of that left knee, the balancing on that right foot. Use the breath to find a little more rotation. Then your next breath in, bring that hand of the left back up and over. Take a hold of the knee, squeeze that knee in towards the body as high as you can take it. Keep the toes of that left foot active. Keep grounding through that right foot, finding that stability in your standing balance. Then release that left foot back to the floor. Take a paddle of the feet. Then take the same on the other side. So putting your weight into your left foot, keep the hips neutral as you bring that right knee up to hip height. Active toes on that right foot. Bring your left hand onto your right knee. Raise your right hand up to the ceiling. Take it around behind you. Keep the hips facing forward. Take the turn through the waist. Keeping that knee of the right bent and lifted. Keeping strength in that hip flexor. Keeping that left hand holding onto that right knee to stop the pelvis from turning sideways. Long breaths in. Long breaths out. Noticing those muscles in that standing leg working to hold the pose. Your next breath in, bring that hand back up and over. Bring it back to meet the knee. Hold on to the knee with both hands. Raise that knee into the chest. Active feet grounded through that standing left leg. Trying to feel the glutes on that left side, activating to hold the pose. Particularly my worst side here, never feel quite so stable. One more breath. And then release that foot to the floor. Take a paddle of the feet. Bring the feet off to the edges of the mat. Find your yogic squat. Bringing those bums down to the floor or onto a block if you need to. Tucking those bums under, lifting through the shoulders. One more rotation here in our yogic squat. So bring your your right hand down. Lift your left hand up and turn and twist to your left side. Gazing up towards that left thumb, trying to keep the knees nice and wide, twist through the waist. Bring the hands back together in the centre. This time take your left hand down to the floor, your right hand up to the ceiling, turn and twist to the right, keeping those knees open, using the glutes to keep the knees wide. Twisting and turning and lifting the gaze up towards that right hand. Bring it back to the centre. Bring the bums to the mat. Bring the feet to the front of the mat. Heels pushing away, toes back to the shins. Have a little paddle through those legs. We're taking a forward fold before we do a little rotation. Arms lift on the inhale, reach up, lengthen through the waist. On the exhale, fold over those legs, bringing the hands to wherever they reach. It may be the shins, the ankles, the sides of the feet, or the big toes with the index and middle finger. Elongate on the inhale, push the ribs forward, roll the shoulders back. On your exhale, fold over those legs. And just find that forward fold, using the abdominal strength to draw that chest and ribs a little closer to those thighs. They don't have to reach. If this is your range of movement, just feel like you're contracting that belly on every exhale. See whether you can make it a little stronger. Then bring those shoulders back over those hips. Bring the hands just for the sides of the body. Take a bend in both knees. Knees and feet together. Let the knees drop over to your left side. Shoulders stay faced forward as those knees drop through gravity and the twist through the waist. Hold them here for a couple of breaths. Again, feel that chest pointing forwards, the hips pointing to the left. Knees come back into the middle. Keep the knees and feet stacked as they go over to the opposite side. Keep encouraging that left shoulder from turning towards the right. Chest facing forward, lifted and lengthened through the spine. Allow those legs to drop over with gravity. Bring those knees back to the centre. Widen the legs. Remove flesh from under the sit bones. Bring your left hand to the inside of that left leg. Reach the right arm up and over, and then start to fold over that left leg, keeping that right sit bone grounded to the floor, reaching and stretching through that right side of the waist, keeping the chest forward, arm of the top long, elbow of that left side encouraged down as close as it can towards the floor. Try not to lift through that right sit bone. Come back to the centre, opposite side, so this time your right hand comes to the inside of the right leg, the left hand lifts, then take it over towards that right side. Keep pushing down into that left sit bone. Try and encourage that right elbow to the floor, chest turn to the front, stretching down that left side waist. One more breath in this position. Then bring yourself back up to the centre. On your out breath, just slowly let those hands come as far forward without that back rolling. Keep pushing that chest forward. Toes are active, knees pointing up to the ceiling. And just walk those hands to wherever they reach. If that's up here, that's fine. Just try not to force yourself down by rolling through the back. Keep a long spine, space through the chest, gaze forward. And use that abdominal strength again to maybe allow yourself to fold a little closer towards that mat. Walking the hands back up. Bring those legs back into the centre. Long legs, long arms. Slowly let that body curl down one vertebra at a time, all the way to the floor. Bring the hands down by the sides of the body. We're just going to take a back bend just to neutralise all those forward folds and twists. So feet come into the bum. We're taking one lift into bridge for a few breaths. So push into the feet hip width apart, knees hip width apart. Start to raise those hips to take that extension through the back. Chest comes towards the chin, create the space at the back of the neck. Squeeze the bum to lift the hips maybe a little higher. Nice long easy breaths as you hold it in full extension. As much as you can lift those hips, as much as you can muster. And then as controlled as you've taken it up, bring it back down, one vertebra at a time, all the way back to the floor. And then just allow that lower spine to relax. Knees and feet come together, arms out to a T shape. Let the knees drop over to your left side. If you've got the space to straighten that top leg out, just send it over more to that left side of the mat and the gaze towards those right fingertips. Hold it just for a breath here. Then bend into that right knee, bring the knees back into the centre. Take the knees over to your right side, the gaze to your left, straighten that top leg out if you've got the space, just to get a little more stretch down that IT band on the outside of that left thigh. Then bring those knees back into centre, knees stay in the centre, heel toe the feet out to the width, knees drop over to your left, feel that hip flexor stretch down that right side. Just let gravity take a hold, let go of any muscles you're holding on to. Relax the jaw, the forehead. Starting to bring everything back down. Knees back into the centre, then take those knees over to your right side. Gaze to the left hand, stretch through that left hip. And with control, bring those knees back into the middle. Walk the feet out to the length of the mat. Push into the heels, bring the hands down by the sides of the body. Tuck the tailbone under. Take that arch out of the lower back. Release the bum back to the floor. Give those hips a little rock from side to side. Take a nice long, easy breath in through the nose. Long sigh out through the mouth. Release any tension you're holding in any part of the body. Maybe have a scan through to see how it feels. Let the palms face up so the shoulders relax. Let the feet drop out so the hips relax. If you wish to take longer in relaxation, just let the breath be nice and passive. Maybe have a scan from the toes, slowly up through the feet, all the way up those lower limbs, through the torso, through the shoulders, through the upper limbs, through the back of the head, the face. Maybe you just want to pause that video to maybe have an extra 5, 10 or 15 minutes in this place. Just letting that earth support you, letting everything give to the floor. If you're coming with me, wriggling the fingers, wriggling those toes. Maybe taking a turn of the head in one direction, back through centre, over to the other side. Maybe you want to take that full body stretch, stretching the hands up and over the head, stretching through the fingers, the toes. And then bringing those hands over the knees into the chest. Give that body a rock from side to side a couple of times. And then just rock over onto one side. Just take a long, easy breath in this fetal position. Then making your way to seated, shoulders over the hips, either cross-legged or on the knees, eyes gently closed. Breath in, raise the hands to the ceiling. Breath out, bring the palms to the chest. Have a rub of the palms together to create a little heat. Then place those palms over the eyes, blink into the palms, allow some light through the fingers. Take a long, easy breath in. As you breathe out, release the hands to the chest, soft gaze to the floor. Have peace in your thoughts, your words, your hearts. From my heart to yours, Namaste.